Hi, in this video, you will learn what is intention to create legal relations in contract law. This video will help you get better grades in contract law exams or courseworks. I'm Nini, I'm founder of Simple Studying. I have LLB and LLM degrees from City University of London. I've got high to 1 and first class grades when I was at law school. Then I built Simple Studying platform to help law students get high grades. We are building AI-powered higher education tool. So for now, it's only for law students, but soon it will cover all the main areas of higher education, both for UK and US university students, to help students get high grades and build successful careers. We have already over 25,000 registered customers in the UK. That's like 25% of total law students in the country. 90% of our regular customers who got a premium subscription as well as tutoring sessions have reported to have got a first class. We have already helped thousands of law students in the UK get high grades, so we know exactly how to get a first class law degree. What is a contract? Contract is a legally binding agreement that consists of an offer, acceptance, consideration, and intention to create legal relations. This video will be specifically about intention to create legal relations. If you want to learn more about what is an offer, acceptance, and consideration, check out the relevant videos. Everything is uploaded on our YouTube channel. What is intention to create legal relations? This is a doctrine in contract law stating that in domestic agreements, the law of contract does not want to intervene according to the public policy. Social or domestic arrangements. So in this kind of circumstances, usually the law doesn't want to intervene and it's assumed that there is no intention to create legal relations. You can cite the case of Balfour versus Balfour for this principle in a problem question or an essay question. In Balfour, wife sought to enforce a promise by her husband to pay her £30 a month while he worked abroad. It was held that there was no intention to create legal relations and therefore there was no contract. If you get a problem question with a similar scenario where there is an agreement between spouses or between parents and their children, you can cite the case of Balfour and state that usually in this kind of cases, there is no intention to create legal relations unless a contrary intention can be demonstrated. So basically, unless you can demonstrate there is very clear evidence that they intended to create legal relations. Jones versus Padavatten. This is about a mother and a daughter who had an agreement that if the daughter studied for the bar, she would provide a house for her. And the issue was whether this was an enforceable agreement. It was held that the agreement was only a domestic agreement and it was not enforceable in law because there was no intention to create legal relations. In a problem question, if the parties are spouses, you can cite Balfour versus Balfour because it's factually more relevant because it was about spouses. Whereas if you have a dispute between parents and children, then you should cite this previous case, Jones versus Padavatten, because contextually, factually, it's more relevant as this case was about a mother and a daughter. How can the presumption be rebutted? In domestic agreements, clear evidence is required for an intention to create legal relations. See the case of married versus married, for example, where a husband and a wife are about to separate or have separated, then the presumption doesn't apply. In such a case, the parties bargain keenly and do not rely on honourable understanding. This was what was held in the case of married versus married. So if they separated or if they are about to separate, then it's easier to prove that there was intention to create legal relations. What if there is a third party? So there is a family relationship between the parties, but there is also a third party involved who is not related. See the case of Simpkins versus Pace. A grandmother, granddaughter, and a lodger entered a weekly competition run by the Sunday Empire News. The coupon was sent in the grandmother's name each week, and all three made forecasts and they all paid. The agreement was that if they won, they would divide the prize. The grandmother won £250 and she refused to share. It was held that it was a binding contract despite the family connection between the parties because there was a third party, the lodger, involved, and accordingly, this rebutted the presumption of no intention to create legal relations, and therefore there was an enforceable contract. See the case of Parker versus Clark for social arrangements, because domestic or social arrangements, the presumption is the same. Defendants asked claimants to live with them and sell their house. The promise was that they would leave a share of their house to them in their will. Due to certain disagreements, defendants asked claimants to leave. Then they brought an action in court. It was held that agreement was enforceable. Even if they were friends, they intended to create legal relations. So there was an legally enforceable contract. So for domestic and social arrangements, the court believes that there is no intention to create legal relations. However, for the commercial arrangement, it's the opposite. There is usually intention to create legal relations. There is a strong presumption that parties intend to create legal relations under commercial arrangement. See the case of ESO Petroleum versus Commissioners of Customs and Excise. ESO supplied garages with World Cup coins. Garages were to give away 1 coin with every 4 gallons of petrol sold. The issue was whether the coins supplied were under a contract of sale. It was held that the coins were offered in a commercial arrangement, and therefore there was an intention to create legal relations. How can this presumption be rebutted in a commercial arrangement? Presumptions usually in English law can be rebutted, and in this case, it can be rebutted by an express term of the contract which states that parties do not intend to create legal relations. You can cite the case of Rose and Frank versus J.R. Crompton and Rose for this principle, because this is exactly what happened in this case. There was a term in the contract saying that this arrangement was not supposed to create legal relations, and it was effective. The court held that there was no intention to create legal relations. However, the intention not to create legal relations must be clear. To learn more about contract law, please check out Contract Law Study Module on Simple Studying platform. Just go to simplestudying.com and search contract law, and you will find all the study materials there that you need to get high grades. Instead of reading thousands of pages of overcomplicated law textbooks, you can read our oversimplified condensed study materials specifically designed by top law graduates from English universities to help you get a first-class law degree.